if it shows up.
Well, there.
All there.
Hi, Mom. I see you. I see you lurking. Thanks. I should probably issue capacity. I don't really like setting the whole picture thing up. It's kind of awkward last second.
Wait, what?
Hey, Vince. Stars on my because I have a distinct picture in my background, but it's a little too.
That's what I do too. Yeah, what's up, Hash Browns?
Let me change this. How are you,
Episode
Vince?
1.
Alright, guys, we're having trying to figure this out. Ugh. Hi, Cryptech, how are you?
Need to steal your multi.
Do it. I don't remember how to change here we go. I guess a little more blended in the background. Okay, so it's not as bright. I guess, alright, guys. How are you guys? Friday? Hey, Jesse, how are you?
What's up, Hash Browns?
Such a cutie nut.
Just see how it looks.
Playing for trials
lit.
and join. Yeah, that's fine, then. It's fine. This may become a regular thing, so we got lots to talk about, I'm sure.
I'm gonna ban Nightbot from talking to my chat box. Nobody need to see that shit. Nightbot, the Insomniac bot.
Alright, guys. So just FYI, I am streaming with that guy Bert. He's also streaming this, so if you hear him talk about something his viewers said, just FYI, they're there too. Yeah. It's good, Jesse.
Check out Sam too.
What about yours? I'm way more patient with Destiny than most people. Yeah, I think a lot of people like to complain about it. I mean, I have my own issues with it, but I think there's positives and negatives to most games, unless it's Skyrim.
I got a mega basic bitch set up right now.
There's no such thing as negative with Skyrim.
I like Skyrim.
Will forever be the greatest game ever.
Except there's one problem I had with Skyrim, and that was I don't know if any of you guys remember Farkas from the Companions. Yes. So I had a really bad glitch. So I got the game when it first came out. Okay, so you're gonna expect glitches, especially in a game that large. That's a given. So I had an issue where he was my companion. He's supposed to follow me around at one point, and then when I ended up switching to someone else, he acted as if he was still my companion forever. The whole time I played it. The whole 100 and something hours that I put into it, he would follow me around all across the map. So if I'd fast travel all the way from one corner to another corner, and I was running out, let's say I was running out in the snow somewhere, all of a sudden I'd be fighting a dragon, and boom, I'd be turned around, forcefully turned around, and Farkas would come up and be like, oh, hi, how are you? Something weird like that, and I'm like, what?
That's crazy.
He followed me everywhere. I remember several times too, I'd be in a dungeon and he just runs up to me. Everywhere. It was him, and I'm
that's determination.
I'm on a mission with someone else trying to sneak around. What are you trying to do to by talking to me?
I've moved on, Farkas. Go home.
You're forgetting about Lydia's annoying asshole again. He wanted to be your best friend. I think he did. That's why every time I see him now, though, I kind of have this... I get kind of cringy, and I don't like to be around him. It just... I can't... I'm it's post-traumatic stress from Farkas. Just Farkas, though. He's the only issue I really had, though.
PTFD, post-traumatic Farkas disorder.
Yeah. Farkas disorder. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, perfect. I forgot to tell you guys about that. So I have a Discord overlay right now so you guys can see whoever's talking.
I need to set that up.
Yeah, I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, I think it's good for the podcast, especially so you can see who's,
Definitely.
communicating when.
Yeah.
It's super nice. Let's see. I can't. So let's see here. want to start? So the topic for tonight is going to be the state of Destiny and what we want for Destiny 2. Of course, everyone's going to have their different opinions. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions, but that does not mean that your opinion is better than someone else's, because it is just an opinion. So please keep that in mind. Yeah. Of course, there's that.
And also, brought up by Bert like 2 weeks ago, there's no such thing as a wrong opinion. Because it's just an opinion.
Opinion is opinion. It's just someone else's thought. Doesn't mean you have to agree with it, but you can agree to disagree and just move on with your life. Jesse, yes. Oh my god, I disagree already. Oh, I'm sorry, Vince. I don't know. Vince, you're funny. Such cute. Oh, thank you for hosting our little song.
I have a few things written. I can just go
down
the list and we can just pick what we want to start with and then work from there.
Yeah, I mean, we're starting off with the state of the current game and our thoughts on it, I guess. Yeah. By no means, does that mean that you guys have to agree? Of course, you guys in chat, anyone in chat can feel free, obviously, to put your input. I actually would encourage it. And it says you receive payment in 3 to 5 days. Aw, feels bad, man. I'm sorry, this is so awkward. I'm sorry. But yes, any of you guys can, feel free to say something. What your thoughts are. Maybe if you have a different, perspective on something, it's always nice. So, yeah, let's, I guess, get happy, start off.
So, I think we could start with the most recent thing being Iron Banner and the fact that they decided to go with Rift again.
How many people do you think actually like Rift? Because I don't think too many people like Rift. The only people who seem to like Rift always have a solid team.
People that can 6-man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see Rift being enjoyable if you have a full team and you know what you're doing, because then, I've played with full teams and Rift can be fun when you're slaughtering the other team. But
you can say that with any game, though.
Yeah, well, true.
But it doesn't make it good, necessarily.
Definitely not. It's, in my opinion, it's probably the worst game type in Destiny, just in general.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're solo queuing, exactly. And so if you're on your own, it's probably gonna be a terrible experience because you can't really
definitely
communicate with anyone.
Well, because of, I think a lot of people see it that way. That you're kind of gonna have a better time if you have full teams. So you'll probably, if you're solo queuing, you'll probably run into full teams more frequently anyway. So.
Definitely.
I think
with Rift, but not while solo queuing. Exactly.
I think Supremacy would have been a better idea if they were going with an objective game type.
I prefer it. I
a lot of people do prefer.
Hey,
Supremacy actually is really fun.
I think so too. I'm glad they actually brought it in. A lot of people made fun of it and thought it was dumb because it was copying Call of Duty, but it's a fun game type. A lot of game types are the same in most shooters. They're not really
especially now that Activision is kind of overseeing both
everything,
Call of Duty and Destiny.
So it's kind of a given. But realistically, things like capture the flag and.
Well, that's kind of been a staple for every shooter since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
At least since Halo.
Yeah, no kidding. Halo kind of started all of that. You have one glaring issue with Destiny, you guys. Yeah, Vince. And what is that? Simon was just sniffing. Just a tad.
So yeah, we have Rift.
Let me see.
And that's going from the 6th, which is Tuesday, to
the 13th.
Tuesday the 13th. Yeah. With scout rifles, fusions. Actually, that's going to be rip the meta after Iron Banner, because we're going to see Saladin's Vigil everywhere for 2 or 3 weeks.
Why?
Because it's the best fusion rifle in the game.
Saladin's Vigil isn't an Iron Banner fusion. It's Archon's Forge.
What's the Iron Banner one?
It's really bad. It's not nearly
Really?
as good as Saladin's Vigil.
I would have. I swear Saladin's Vigil was the Iron Banner one. They look the same anyway. Oh well. Well, that's good. And then we have helmets, and yeah. So
Branded Lord is the ID.
I'm hoping to get 100%
Saladin's Vigil
again.
isn't what he's selling. And the lack of consistent and clear communication has been irritating. I agree. Deej said one of the streams they did on Twitch that they would never have Rift or Ivy again, yet they brought it back. Yeah, that's what I thought I remembered, but I wasn't sure. Because I thought a lot of people disliked it for Iron Banner, but I didn't really see any positive feedback as far as Rift.
how often does Bungie listen to the community?
Yeah, that's one other really large problem. I mean, I love them to death and I love what they're doing, but half the time. But sometimes it's just, I don't feel they listen. I feel like they just kind of do and hope it works out.
Pretty much, yeah.
It clearly doesn't seem to be working too well because it seems like a lot of people have distanced themselves from the game.
I don't know if it's that they're not listening. It's more that most of their team is working on Destiny 2.
Yeah, that's what I wonder too.
Well, it also makes it harder for them to listen to people because there's not as many, people prominent names talking about it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you have all the people, that aren't really, what's the word I'm looking for? That aren't really like, just the average consumer, if they're not going to really notice that, or if you have somebody, for instance, who has a large following actually talking about it and getting, input out there, then they'd be more willing to listen to it. Maybe.
That's why, that's actually why I wouldn't say it's dead. It's clearly people still play it. It's not dead. I just don't think it's as popular as it. Just like my ex. Oh my god. I just don't think it's as popular as it was at one point. It seemed to grow really quick for a short while there, like in September with the the content release, but after that it kind of seemed to slow quite quickly. That's actually one of the questions I had is, do any of you think that SRL will actually bring the fan base back, and if so, for how long?
Not very long, maybe some of it.
Because I think it'll do more for the Twitch Destiny community rather than the actual general fan base.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people don't look at it the way it should be looked at, as in, this game's been out for 3 years and it's lasted pretty decently for the whole 3 years, and that can't really be said about too many games. Usually at this point there will have been a sequel or even 2 sequels, and this is still, even though there's been massive updates and the game's a lot different than it was when it came out, it's still the first installment of the game. So so having lasted 3 years is a pretty good achievement.
It's quite amazing that it's actually pulled out this long.
And still getting decent numbers.
Yeah, definitely. Especially since, Vince actually brought up something, saying, he's like, I'll give him some slack because if Destiny went according to plan, we'd be playing Destiny 2 right now. Yeah, because that was a part of the original 10-year plan, that it would have been Destiny 2 this year instead of, just another expansion.
Yeah, like even right now, Destiny is still in the top 10 on the directory.
Oh yeah, it's got a huge community.
And this is you could say this is a low point. It's been how many months since? Well, I guess September. So it's 3-4 months since.
Yeah, almost 3 months since
Rise of Iron came out.
Yeah.
And at this point, you can kind of say everything's been done. Everyone's beaten the raid. Hard mode's already been out for a while.
Yeah. Most people have already done it who've had intentions of doing it. Yeah. Bring back the 1-year grind. Fudge the quest. I want to have weapons that no one has. I want to have weapons that I actually grind for 100 or 200 hours. Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of the fan bases. A lot of the people that play, love grinding things. So it just seemed like when they said originally that Like, we had to, like, work for, like, the Gjallarhorn. I thought it was going to be, like, a really long quest, not, like, a really short,
That
like,
quest took
40-minute total time to get
didn't
it.
take very long.
I was
And
expecting more.
Yeah, I was a little just, I wouldn't say disappointed, just kind of like,
Yeah.
just whatever.
Just, like, I kind of wish it was a little longer.
But I kind of agree with what Jesse said. Like, even though I'm not the biggest fan of quote unquote the grind,
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like the idea of having exotics locked behind like quests per se.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, like with, well, the Gjallarhorn wasn't really that big of a deal, but like with Thorn for year 3, or the what's it called, Outbreak Prime, which I still haven't finished that quest yet.
Yeah,
because
Vince was
it
actually
requires a Titan Hunter and Warlock in the same party for the majority of the quest, which is not very easy to, you know, make that happen.
Yeah.
Kind of like the whole, you know, refer a friend thing, which I never got to do.
Yeah, I didn't finish the Outbreak Prime quest either, mostly because of that same thing. It's just the whole team thing. It's like it requires a lot of effort, but not quite solo effort. Team effort, I think it can be a little excessive in this game.
I can understand requiring a team for like raids and stuff.
Yeah,
but
that makes sense.
Not a specific combination of characters.
Yeah, it's a little weird
because that alienates a lot of people. What if you only have one character, or, you know, just so for instance, you and your friends prefer a certain kind of character, then you're kind of screwed unless you look online and, you know, LFG or other, you know, streamers or whatever.
Yeah, that seems to have always been a huge issue. Especially because the whole thing's been brought up for like matchmaking for raids, which never really quite made sense to me, because in raids in most games, you know, you have to actually, you know, talk to a group and form it and then go in, you know. It's not gonna be like,
well,
you know, soloing it seems a little odd to me, and it seems like more of a disaster than anything.
I mean, I've seen on other games you can, for instance, I'm not sure on any specific examples, but I know there's other games where if you do matchmaking for certain things, you can set prerequisites to have like voice communication or whatever, you know, like say you know, you'll matchmake for other people that have mics that can communicate, versus if you don't want to communicate, you can search for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if they did matchmaking for raids, you know, I think that'd be something they would have to do, is allow people to specify the level of communication they want when searching.
Oh, definitely.
And that would only match you with those people looking for the same kind of thing.
Yeah. A very simple matchmaking thing they could have done a while ago is matchmaking for the older PoEs as well as possible matchmaking for Nightfalls. Yeah, well, especially since when it comes down to like rewards and things like that.
I feel like matchmaking for Nightfalls would just end up like Heroics, where kids just sit AFK and make you do the entire thing.
That's kind of true.
Even though a good thing for that, if you guys ever get with AFKers and strikes, just push them to a point where they can die and they get kicked for being AFK. So, yeah.
Good to know.
Well,
Except that reminds me of me and Happy's experience in one.
Oh God, no. Not that guy.
We've had some bad experiences. That guy was horrible.
One specific really bad experience.
One guy who was so bad that we couldn't get through it, and we kind of waited there for a long time.
It's like he had nothing better to do.
No, he just sat there and he wouldn't join our group.
Anyway.
Let's see here. This thing. Buff shotguns again, buff the defender class. No.
I wanted to say something about that. Hell no.
No shotguns.
I think he's talking about the combination of universal remote and no backup.
Yeah,
plans.
no, I'll pass.
Def not. That was on the level of Stormcaller melee, so please.
That's extreme. No. Very, very trolly. Bring back your one Nightfall when we return to orbit. No, I get checkpoints.
I'm not really a fan of that.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with
Shotguns of
Cryptek.
Fine Defender is fine. No changes. Yeah, I agree with. Yeah, I feel like Everything
Fender
else
is
is just
still
too
great
weak
right
that
now.
everyone ends up falling to shotguns.
Well,
So that's
Fender-
the problem.
I don't really have a problem with shotguns if everyone has access to the same kind of shotgun. So if everyone has it, it wouldn't be a problem, you know?
Yeah, it's just the
Because then it
RNG
just comes
system.
down to then it comes down to who pulls the trigger first, which is what should be no matter what weapons you're using. You know, if you pull the trigger first, you should win the fight. But then it comes down to connection, whether or not your bullets actually count. You know.
Yeah.
So
Titan Smash should be powerful though. Like I understand what he's saying, but Defender shouldn't be a bubble that can't be broken over like 2 supers. And
no.
it's just too powerful at that point.
I do feel like Defender Bubble is a
I
little
agree,
useless
Vince.
though compared to every
Yeah, I
other
agree
super,
with
really.
Vince.
Yeah, the lack of primary effectiveness for sure. Shotguns are fine.
Well-
Primaries are just too weak. Exactly.
I don't remember. I discussed that with somebody. I don't remember who, but that the baseline for primaries should be set to like what guns are being used the most right now, which would be, Clever Dragon, Blind Perdition, IS Luna. Those should be the baseline for primary effectiveness, and everything else should be brought up to that level. Instead of nerfing everything else, they need to bring primaries up, so it'll all be fair, and then people will be more willing to use their primaries instead of having to rely on shotguns or snipers or heavy all the time, and then primaries being their last resort.
Yeah,
While they're at it,
avoiding nerfs.
they need to take high caliber off of any and all primaries.
A lot of people say that. Yeah.
It ruins gunfights. It makes them too unpredictable.
I've only noticed it being a problem on pulses because I've never even seen
High cal's not on any other thing, but I'm saying if they were to ever
it
put
actually
it on any,
it's on hand
Jesse.
cannons too.
is it?
I have it on my whale and the I think it's only on the whale that I have.
I think
but-
it's because your whale can't have rifled, like you
Yeah,
said.
you can't combo. That would be disgusting. The only as far as I know, I have a God Roll whale, which is high caliber, small bore, and luck. Which if it could get rifled, then that would be God Roll, but it can't actually get rifle barrels. So I'm pretty sure that's the best you can do. Is
Yeah.
small bore.
That and the last word are the only hand cannons that can get high cal. If I've never seen on any other hand cannon get it.
Cryptex says high cows on every primary.
It's definitely not. I've
don't
never
think
seen it on
so.
a scout. The only scout that I've ever seen it on was the secret perk for the Mida.
Hi,
Oh,
Jason.
jeez.
Oh god, that was scary.
So loud.
Yeah, we're kind of doing like a.
Yeah, I don't know. I installed my webcam and my microphone decided
Hold
to
up, I'll do
amplify
that.
itself.
It's fine. Yeah, he doesn't. No, I don't think so. It's fine.
High cal only became a problem because they buffed the crap out of it and made him flinching. Well, yeah. Well, it wasn't a problem until it was on the Clever Dragon because it's the same problem
Jesse.
that the Mida had. The Mida used to have a secret perk for high cal and it was pretty much impossible to combat against it.
Did
And
it
that's why the
really?
Mida used to be so, yeah.
Damn.
It used to be amazing.
Well, I remember. Yeah, the days when it used to be really good, but I actually didn't know that.
It was like just before Taken King, and then I think that's when they took it off.
Yeah, I think that's actually when I used it the most.
Because I remember using it again, and I'm like, damn, why does this not feel the same? And I'm like, oh, that's why, because people can actually fight against me now.
My cat was less in Hawksal, but it wasn't a strong person when ran it.
All right, I'm
Has
back.
it only recently become an issue then?
High count because of Clever Dragon, yeah.
Clever Dragon.
It's like I said, that's why people have problems with the Mida because it had it.
I don't know. Maybe I don't go up against it as much, but I don't really have a problem going up against people who use the Clever Dragon unless they just don't necessarily have high caliber on theirs. But I personally prefer to use Blind Perdition over the Clever Dragon, and mine has high caliber. So I don't know.
Vince.
Yeah, I don't know. High cal just really makes gun gunfight's too unstable, really.
Yeah.
The 22.4, I was like,
The only thing that should really have something that makes you flinch as much as high caliber sniper rifles. Maybe shotguns if you get hit markers, but that's really it.
Well, I mean, you kind of already flinch a lot from getting sniped, so I don't know if adding high cal.
No, I'm not saying add high cal, but I'm saying like if it were to be a thing.
Oh yeah.
Snipers do have high cal. I'm pretty sure they have armor piercing and high cal. I think.
Yeah, but I don't think it really makes a difference, or it wouldn't really be noticeable anyway.
The only reason it is noticeable is because there's something almost with the same fire rate as the Mida. And that's the Clever Dragon. That's why people are like, damn, this perk is insanely overpowered.
We're just cleaning up here, Sam. Gaming. I'll be home soon. Okay. Just let me know, gaming, so I can let you into the Discord room.
Yeah, that's true, Vince.
Here's something else has been over like 3 coins over in the specialness of eating exotics. Yeah, I think so too. It kind of destroyed the point.
Because after a certain point, well, like I haven't bought 3 of coins from Xur in probably at least 4 or 5 months.
Oh, wow.
Because there's no reason to. I have every exotic.
If you have everything, then yeah.
I mean, really, the only reason I would is to get 400 light exotics, but I don't use exotics often enough to make, to need to do that. So I pretty much just use all my strange coins for heavy so I can rank up factions.
Yeah, well, I personally use it because I'm like I don't play as often as everyone else, obviously, but I have a lot of 3 coins still, and I use them quite a lot, and that's how I got my Hawk Moon too.
Yeah. Well, like here's an example. Like, I have, as far as I know, I have every heavy weapon that drops as an Ingram, and like currently in my inventory, and I have 77 exotic shards. So
my god,
I don't need
I want that many exotic shards, please.
Yeah. Thanks. And I think I have duplicates of a few things. I have 2 fourth horsemen for whatever reason, I don't know. I need to clean out my vault. I'm getting close to max on every category. I have like 100 of 108 for weapons and 103 of 108 for armor. I'm pretty much a hoarder. So.
Back to matchmaking. What are your thoughts on skill based and being removed or staying? Like, what do you want?
They need to make a ranked playlist and make that skill based.
Yeah.
And leave the rest of Crucible connection based.
Going off of what Wish said the other day, skill based really does ruin Crucible because you have people that sit there and like get on teams with you after like you've practiced for years and you're actually good at the game, and they kind of get carried to wins.
Yep.
And then they sit there and bitch when they're on the other side of that. It's like you're never gonna get good if you sit there and get carried by the good people.
Well, I think it also sucks being someone who's not very good at the game when you can't really like play against anyone,
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, skill-based is ruining that. You can't get better because you're not playing good people. Well, it really does.
I think at that point, then you need to go and look at private matches, because back on Halo 3, we played custom games almost as much, if not more, than matchmaking itself.
Oh, yeah.
I did that all the time in Halo.
Same.
That, I can't even explain how much custom games made me better at Halo 3, and I know the same can be done with Destiny. If you practice with friends or whatever, eventually you're going to get good enough.
You think the problem is also population, but what about the matchmaking system itself, though?
Yeah. The thing is, with Destiny, like year 1, I was shit at Destiny. Like, I was not good at all. But the matchmaking wasn't like this, and you can actually go against kids that were way better than you. So it was way easier to actually get good at the game instead of just getting carried to every win that you have.
Yeah. Well, I personally feel that I was a lot better during year 1 than I am now. Now I'm horrible, and I don't even like playing PvP anymore. It's hard for me, too. I mean, I try to enjoy it, but it's a little bit rough on me.
Well, I year one was a lot more fair as far as weapons go because
Yeah,
Yeah.
even with re-rolling.
yeah, I mean
Mhm.
the meta wasn't so extreme. Like
Hmm.
almost everything could do what
Everything
you
had a
wanted to,
chance.
yeah, everything had a chance. And now pretty much it's like, okay, you have 2 pulse rifles,
Hi, Nessa.
2 hand cannons, and a scout rifle, and then 2 snipers and 2 shotguns, and that's it. Everything else is not even close to that level, you know.
Mhm.
Yep.
Like you have the Clever Dragon, Blind Perdition, Ias Luna,
Yes.
Palindrome, Mida, and that's pretty much it for primaries, unless you want to make it harder on yourself, you know.
Yeah, I feel like mine
Personally,
is still not that good anymore, though.
yeah, it really isn't.
Well,
anymore.
I try
for
using
certain
it, and
maps,
it's a little, it's
I think
okay, but
it's-
it's not great.
I think it's
Mhm.
really situational. For certain maps, it depends. I guess it depends on what your opponents are using. If your opponent's using hand cannons on a bigger map, which I don't know why they would, but if they were, then it'd be a good idea to use the Mida because you're gonna outgun them every time.
Yeah.
Generally, yes. Let's see. Here.
But it's like if you're not using any of the within the meta weapons, you're kind of putting yourself at a disadvantage, which shouldn't be the case. Like you should be able to use whatever you want and still be able to have fun and win some fights,
Yeah,
you know.
that's actually one of the things I was going to bring up. That's actually one of my biggest issues and one of the biggest reasons why I haven't been playing the game itself is just because I don't like feeling like to do well that I have to stick with whatever's the best at that moment.
Yeah.
And it's always changing. Like by the time anyone gets used to it, they flip it
Yep.
to like something
Yep.
else, and it drives me insane because you look back on a lot of multiplayer games and a lot of things don't get adjusted like they do in Destiny. Like they
Yeah, they
stay
really
solid and consistent and they stay popular for years.
Take Counter-Strike, for example.
Yeah. I
The
mean, Halo
guns.
3.
Oh, yeah.
The one I remember them doing one patch on Halo 3. I'm sure they did more, but they never really talked about it like they do with Destiny. The only thing I can remember them ever patching was, I believe it was the SMGs. I think they were too strong, so they nerfed them a little bit, but that's it. Everything else stayed exactly the same. It was
Yeah,
either the
things like
SMGs
that
or
are
the Needler.
fine.
I don't remember.
Things like that are fine.
Yeah, but like the difference between Halo and Destiny is Halo, everyone's got the same weapons no matter what you're doing. And then the whole point of Destiny having all these different weapons, there's hundreds if not thousands of different weapons you can have. But what's the point if you can really only use 10 or 12 of them and succeed at the game, you know?
Personally, I'd rather go back to the Last Word Thorn meta. That's just me, because even in that meta
I
with the
hated
messenger,
it, but I still liked it more than
But
now. And plus, you
The-
gotta remember Red Death. Hello.
oh,
Does
that's what I was
remember?
gonna.
You had a way to counter
Red
it.
Death existed until just now. I haven't seen Red Death in
You're roboting into
years.
that. Uh-oh.
it's like Obi-Wan. Red Death. I haven't heard that name in years.
You're roboting so hard in Discord.
Yeah.
Me? Oh,
Yeah.
really? Hold up.
What's it called? The thing with that meta, though, what I was gonna say.
Is that better?
You remember? Wait, what?
Is that better?
Yeah, it's better.
Oh, I know, hopscotch.
Things like Messenger, Hopscotch, like the Trials Pulse. You had the Red Death. Those were viable, even though they weren't like Hawksaw. They weren't like Grasp,
Yeah.
because the meta wasn't just complete shit, and there were other weapons that you could choose from.
Like,
I'm
mean,
sorry,
I
guys.
still have some
Aw,
year one
I'm
stuff.
sure
Like,
it'll improve for you. I love you too.
well, like I remember. Well, I still have Her Mercy, which was the Queen's hand cannon, and I know that was a big thing at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
It was basically the Ias Luna of year one, was that technically year two, House of Wolves?
No,
Or was
that
that
was
still
year
that
one.
was your one.
Okay, so I guess
It was
that
year
gets
0.5
kind of
technically.
0.5, 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
And then like even back then the Suros was viable, and now people wouldn't even dare use an auto rifle.
I got killed by the Suros the other day, and I felt embarrassed.
Well, and then
Holy
they had the whole
no.
doctrine thing, which ruined Crucible.
I would take Doctrine over right now, to be completely
don't say
honest.
that. Don't say that.
No,
Oh,
I
that's
would
that's
literally.
fine, Flynn.
That's blasphemy.
Yeah, that's exactly why I can't get mad at Bungie, obviously, for that. The same.
I don't
the
know,
same
I feel
different
like
weapons, different
The only
parts.
savior at this point is the release of Destiny 2.
I agree with that. As much as I would be sad to leave everything behind, I would also be kind of happy because it'd be a fresh start and they could
Yep.
actually, like, if they did it right,
It's another chance.
Destiny 2 could be the greatest game of all time.
There
If they
needs
go
to
right.
be dedicated servers, ranked playlist, casual playlist,
Mhm.
bring customs, obviously.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Work harder on the raids. I feel like we haven't really had a great raid in a while. Like, Vault was still my top raid, honestly.
Yeah, Vault's still my
Works
favorite by
is-
far.
eh.
I mean, but you got to think about it though. This is the first time they've done anything like raids. Like, I think a
that's
lot
true.
more thought goes into it than we realize
Yeah.
as far as
Oh yeah.
creativity goes. Because you take a game like World of Warcraft, for instance. I mean, I've barely touched the game, but I know how it works. So that's the base of World of Warcraft
60
is
frames
raids,
per second. Oh yeah.
But then you have Destiny, which is officially an FPS, but it's got aspects of RPG and MMO.
Mhm.
And I think they were a little too ambitious.
I agree. That's exactly
With
what
the
I was gonna
idea.
say. Mhm.
I mean, it's not a bad idea,
It's
but
a great
I think,
idea. It's
I
just
don't
it's hard
think
to
they
carry
were-
out.
yeah, I don't think they realized what they were getting themselves into at the beginning.
Mhm.
And I think they've gotten better at it as the years go by. So I feel like Destiny 2 could be great if they do it right.
It could fix everything for all
If
we
they
know,
do
because
it
it
right,
could be
yes.
starting fresh, completely. Like
Yeah,
revamping.
and we don't even know how long they could have been working on this before Destiny 1 was even released. So
Yeah, for all we know.
I mean, as far as we know, Destiny 1 was in works back when Halo 3 ODST came out.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
what was that,
definitely.
2009,
Mhm.
2008?
yeah,
So that, I mean, if we look at it that way,
Oh.
Destiny's been in the works for 8 years at least.
another
which is
thing about
crazy.
ranked playlists is technically they already have the system set up. Look at things like Guardian, GG, and everything. Like they have your what's it called? Skill, a high skill, true skill. That's what it is.
Mhm.
They have like true skill to rank 50. They have elos. Bungie just needs to look at that and maybe even get their help, and they could set
So-
it up themselves. Even though they had obviously the rankings back in Halo.
Mhm.
Is the, for instance, with the true skill and ELO and all that stuff, is that third party stuff, or is that actually within
third
the
party.
Destiny API and they just pull it?
Yeah, no, it's API
So it's just hidden stats on our end, but
basically.
So okay.
Bring back final round snipers.
I feel like they could easily
Jesse,
implement
you're
a
such a
leaderboard
troll.
system in here too.
Yeah.
I agree too with that, Flynn. A new engine too. Yeah. The game is still handicapped by previous gen limitations. Yeah, right now it is obviously. That's they're
Well,
just now
Rise
cut
of
that off, so
Iron-
it should be different.
I don't know if it was just me, but I do feel like the new stuff does look slightly more, I wouldn't say better, but more polished than
Yeah,
The
for
Oh
original
sure.
yeah.
stuff.
I
because
think
Because
with
they're
Rise of
working-
Iron, they weren't. Well, obviously they couldn't use a new engine for Rise of Iron, but they weren't held back as far as like textures and lighting and all that stuff goes.
And
Yeah, because of all
space.
consoles.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so they had a little bit more to work with, and that gives us just a little taste of what's possible. But
All I'm hoping for is Microsoft buys the exclusivity from PlayStation because
I don't
Destiny
even-
2 is going to be on PC.
I don't even want to say that. I just don't think there should be any exclusivity for
I agree.
Or
I don't
that,
think anyone should
I'd be
able to
perfectly
buy
fine
out.
with that too.
because that's just, in my opinion, that's just selfishness, is to have exclusivity on one console or the other.
Selfishness, you mean how Sony paid Activision?
Yeah.
Is it
Well,
true you
I
won't
mean,
be
even
able
though
to
they paid
transfer
them, it's
characters
still
over?
selfish.
I heard you
Yeah,
would
that's what
be
I'm saying.
able to.
I'm talking about
but
that.
I
I've
don't
heard
know.
both, so I don't really know
it's
what
hard
to
to say. there's so many sources out there, and it's kind of hard to determine that until like
Oh,
unless like Deej or something is like, oh yeah, you can carry him over. It's kind of hard.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some hard evidence.
Yeah.
One way
well,
or
I
the other.
know. If we get like a preview somehow of Destiny 2 this weekend at PSX, I'll fucking freak out. That'd be so awesome.
Oh my
I'll
god.
pee my pants.
We won't, but I'd freak out.
We won't. Yeah.
We'll get one by like
Sure.
March, I'd say.
When is E3?
Oh.
That's in the summer,
E3's
right?
in June. It's beginning of
yeah.
June, first week.
I'm gonna guess we'll get I'm not even gonna say a full trailer, a teaser trailer for Destiny
I
2.
don't
at E3.
either, Flynn.
No, we'll
I
get
don't either.
previews before E3 for sure. There's no way we
What's
won't.
coming? What's between
It's
PSX
been
and
mixed, I
E3?
guess. It's
Nothing PAX East really.
It's
idea
PAX, yeah.
stories.
But they'll probably do things like Call of Duty doesn't just release how they announce like stuff in May. They'll probably release a teaser in like April or something, leading up to E3, get us hyped for E3, and then give us a full-blown trailer. Or
I
they'll
honestly-
say that it's
I-
not coming until 2018.
I don't. know.
Oh,
It's-
don't
it
say
has-
that!
It's definitely. I'm gonna say Christmas next year, or like November,
No.
like it's always been.
September's
that-
always been Destiny.
Well, September, whatever.
September.
Halo's always November. That's why I just.
Halo's
Yeah.
November, yeah.
Yeah.
Destiny's always September though.
I'm gonna say September next year is Destiny 2 release. They can't.
I'm
They cannot
really
go
hoping.
another year with Destiny. It's
The
not
only thing-
possible.
The only thing that worried me is the guy from
Grenade launchers.
what's that magazine?
Nick Tubes. my
IGN.
computer just refreshed. Poof.
It was either IGN or some other one. He said that
Polygon or something.
it was like rumored for 2018, and I was like, "Fuck."
I love
Hold on, I'll
Windows
look it up
10.
right now.
Not really. That's why it does
Sarcasm.
this. That's actually why it does this refresh thing. It's a bug. Windows 10. 10
So
out of
I'm gonna
10.
say, like you said, maybe some teasers in between now and E3, and then a full-blown trailer, if not
Teasers.
possible, actual.
We need something by E3.
Play.
I need it.
Kotaku. That's who it was, by the way.
Kotaku. I wouldn't trust them too much.
The one guy is super reliable, and he's the one that said it. So that's the only reason I was worried.
Because he has inside info.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I'm thinking by E3 full-blown trailer, if not possibly like a demo for people to play, and then September Destiny 2 release.
If it's coming in September, we're getting a full trailer at E3. Period. There's no way we're not.
Yeah.
If we, yeah,
That's only
we better by then.
3 months? You said June or July?
June.
Honestly, I
June's the
hope
first
they
week of June.
release a
So-
lot of info though, and I hope they have like a game plan like they did for Destiny originally.
Well, this IP is supposed to be a 10-year deal, so
Yeah, it's
I'm
just,
just-
I'd like to have like know what to be expected instead of having to worry about these dry periods that we've had for
Yeah.
the last 2 years.
I think I don't see them doing what they did with Destiny 1 again.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if you go back and look at the like reveals and everything for Destiny, it was way different than what it ended up being. Like go back and watch the first E3 announcement trailer and you're like, what is this?
The Titans, the Defender Titans in Alpha, their bubbles, they ran with them. They weren't planted on the ground like it was actually a force
Oh,
field.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And oh wait, never mind. Thinking a different game. Never mind.
So I had a few other things written down.
Flashbangs and
We
smokes. Oh my
we went
God.
over
You guys.
briefly
Hey, Cass.
skill-based and
Yes.
connection-based matchmaking, and then Iron Banner already. So
Trolls. How
Yeah,
bad
I hope
Trolls
the
is
DLC
now.
is
I
not
was
too
gonna say
expensive.
trials a little bit, but then also like with as far as PvE goes, because we've talked about PvP a little bit.
Yeah.
With PvE, I feel like outside of raids, there's a massive lack of content as far as like
I agree.
even within the
Very
story.
true, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The story gets really dry. Like for me, it's not very fun to play more than once.
No, it's great the first time, but after that, it's like I don't know if I want to play.
Oh,
it
the
again.
first time,
it doesn't
I
really have
love
that
it.
value to it.
it's not replayable at all. And also the same goes with strikes. Strikes get really stale after a while.
Oh yeah.
Whether people want to admit it or not, they need to take replayability tips from Ubisoft and The Division because everything in that game is replayable. Just saying.
Which it's kind of hard to do because it's pretty much the same formula. It's just for whatever reason, Destiny just doesn't do it right.
They need to give you better rewards for missions. They need to make them like make you want to play them.
True. I don't know. I think part of the deal is the RNG for Destiny as a whole is trash.
Yeah, it is.
Because like if
Oh,
you look at
God.
other games, like for instance with Division, or even better yet with Borderlands, Borderlands has a very similar kind of RNG system to
Mhm.
Destiny, but it's so much better because if you want a specific gun, you can get that specific gun. It'll just take you a certain period of time, and it's
And
not
then-
a set period of time. It can take you an hour or it can take you a day, but eventually you will get the thing you're grinding for.
Like my
With
Ice
Destiny-
Luna hunting.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
played
You
like
should-
for like every day for like
It's-
like more than
it's-
a week, and I didn't
with-
know.
with Destiny, you have a vague idea of what you can do to get certain things, but you're never guaranteed anything ever at any point. But with, for instance, with Borderlands, if you want the conference call, you go kill the warrior 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 times, whatever it takes. Eventually, you're going to get a conference call, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But with Destiny, it says, hey, you can go do Crucible and get an IS Luna. I mean, you can say that, but you might get an IS Luna or you might never get an IS Luna. It
Yeah.
just depends, you know?
Mm-hmm. Which
So,
is
I
why
think-
a lot of people seem to make second accounts, just, because maybe
Cryptic
they'll
has
have better
freaking
luck.
3's a weirdo.
Exactly. And I've actually noticed the RNG is actually different accounts does make a difference. It's really weird.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I
It
don't know
does.
their formula for RNG is really weird.
Well,
'Cause,
you
like,
remember
for
how I
instance,
got my
on-
gally? My first one?
Yeah.
On Dallas'
Dallas,
account? I was
yeah.
playing
Yep.
Crucible and it dropped for me.
And then how long did it take you to get one on your account?
Oh, forever. It took me
Yeah.
months.
Well, I didn't get my first Galhorn until a reward from Crota. So that was, I don't even know, at least 6 months after the game came out.
Yeah, that's around when I got
Flynn.
mine too.
And it was
But-
dumb because when Xur sold it the first time, what was it, like the second or third week? Or was it the first
like
week?
the week before Taken King.
No, I'm talking about the first time he sold it.
Oh yeah,
Year
it was
one.
like
It was like the second or third
The
week.
first thing they sold was the Red Death, and then they
Yeah,
sold
on my
that.
account.
So,
Zombie,
yeah.
I know. It was
I
so
could've-
bad.
I could
Before
have
sold
bought
it
it,
again.
but I was like, oh, I don't want my first and only exotic to be a heavy weapon.
Mhm.
Like, what is this
Yeah.
trash?
That's what
I was
everybody
so dumb. I was like, what is wrong with you? Why did you not
said.
buy it?
Yeah.
Jesse, you're obsessed with COD.
Nobody had any idea how ridiculous Galahorn was, and I feel bad for anyone who missed out on year one Galahorn. It was God.
Oh,
was
my
so good.
gosh.
It was the greatest. Like,
It was so.
the
fun.
only thing I can compare to the year one Galahorn is the Scarab gun from Halo 3.
No
Or
kidding,
not Halo 3,
right?
Halo 2, Halo 2, Halo 2.
No kidding.
Which
bro.
is not even something you're supposed to get. It's
No.
a glitch. It's like, that's the only
But
thing
it's so
comparable
fun,
to
though.
Galahorn. Like, you remember how you could melt Atheon if you had 6 Galahorns? You
Oh,
could melt
so
Atheon before you
great.
even teleported.
So
It was
good.
great.
Literally before you teleported, you could kill Atheon in like 4 seconds.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
It's fine.
What's
And
it
I
called?
feel like the only thing comparable to that now is the swords. Like
Scarab guy.
swords with weapons bubble is the only thing
Yeah, swords are
comparable
fun
to
to use.
Galahorn. They are actually, but they're fun. That's the thing.
What's it called? Going back to RNG though, they and like the Division RNG, the Division, you don't have to sit there and do PvP. They have like PvP specific things like a Matador, but they have PvE specific things that are also amazing for the end game. That's what Destiny needs. They really don't have any PvE like things to.
They don't
get
have any
you to grind
incentives
PvE.
to have
Yeah,
you play it.
Yeah.
Other than
It-
like a
they
couple
need-
items.
they need
For
a
instance,
Matador type thing.
Would you consider factions to be PvP or PvE or neutral?
I feel like
That's a
more
good
people
question.
use them for PvP.
Yeah, I was
'Cause,
gonna say,
like,
I think
well,
so
for instance, you
too.
have, like, Vanguard's obviously meant for PvE, and then Crucible's meant for
Mhm.
PvP.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I kind of feel factions can go either way.
That's the thing though, there isn't like a good enough, like going back to having no PvE content, there's no reason to go for PvE weapons and gear from vendors because
Well-
there's no PvE content.
Well, I mean, on top of that, most of the time, well, for me anyways, I
I
don't
know,
switch
right,
weapons
Jesse?
going between PvP and
Facts.
PvE.
Yeah.
I'll just use my PvP weapons in
Same.
PvE because they're just as good either way.
I have one setup for
Faction should
PvE
be
and I have like
both,
multiple
yeah.
for PvP.
Yeah. I
It
mean,
should be.
technically, you can pretty much use whatever you want for PvE aside from
Basically,
raids.
yeah.
With raids, you kind of have to have the best options, you know. But if you're just doing like strikes or whatever, or just story, you can use whatever you want. It's just, I mean, I don't know. A lot of the stuff I don't really get enjoyment from using because it's just real generic, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Honestly, they need to keep building on what they already have, and that's like PvE specific perks on gear, but make them way better. Like
Yeah.
running faster with a friggin' ball in your hand, that's really.
I know, it's a little silly.
It's like I don't really need to run faster when I'm running 2 feet to throw it at something and then stopping. Make it like 1.5 times damage or something. That'd be cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think one specific thing that I think they need to work on for Destiny 2 is instead of nerfing characters, or not necessarily characters, but like stats or abilities or whatever, and then going back later and adding exotic gear to counter that nerf to make them
Yeah.
better again, like they did with Blade Dancer and adding Shinobu's Vow to make the grenades good.
Mhm.
Yep.
Instead of doing that, just make the characters good and leave it like that.
Make the characters
know?
good. Have those exotics, but make them harder to get, like they used to be
I
hard to
feel
get.
like
Not at
warlocks are the
3
only characters that get a lot of attention.
Whoa.
That's just fine.
Whoa! Don't be hating, okay?
You never even played it until Melee, man, and then now you use the hell out of it because, well, it obviously works. But you don't really see too many
I
people
honestly
like
hate Stormcaller.
praising anything else.
Nobody,
Not
the
at
only
this
people
point.
who like Warlock melees are Warlocks.
Is there? Can we just like? Obviously, I'm a warlock, but is there a reason why there hasn't been like a hot fix or a patch for that fucking melee yet? Because it's
Because
just
they don't listen.
why?
dude.
Like
Skill
why?
Vince,
It's
please.
just it's ridiculous.
It's
Like how do you
it's
have that going
literally-
on?
When your
Triple
melee,
video though, I can't.
Oh my
It's
god,
so-
I know.
It hurts to watch.
his melee outranges max range shotguns.
So far.
It's
That's not.
insane.
That should not be
not
possible.
okay.
You shouldn't be able to punch me
I thought
further away than I
melee
can
was
shoot
like
you with a gun.
touching.
Grant,
That's
I
granted,
thought they had to be
supposed to be.
touching, like punching and stuff.
That's
Melee's
how it
not
should
really
be.
like
Yeah.
sniping you with your hand, but not really.
No.
granted,
I mean, I
that-
understand how lightning works, but no. Just
that
no.
triple video, it's really rare to get a melee to hit that far, but they still do.
It's
do go
it's
insanely
happened
far.
to me a few times. Like in the last, I want to say month, it's happened to me at least 3 times that I can
Yeah.
remember. There was let me see if I can find this. I recorded this.
I agree with the murmur.
This
I don't like
ridiculousness.
that gun, but the different perks were quite nice.
Yeah, that was cool. We need to have elemental primaries back. I had so much more
Yeah, I
fun.
know.
Even without burns on, I had so much more fun in PvE just having an elemental primary. I don't know why, but I did. And like going back to the connection thing,
It's
you guys see how you sit there and it looks like you get shot through a wall, but it's really just a lag that you die, but on
Like
your screen it
your
looks like
orb
you
is
went
on
around
the
the
other side
wall.
of the
It
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
funny.
It's
That
ridiculous.
is very true.
What I think happens with that is on their end, we weren't on the other side of the wall, but on our end,
Yeah,
we
it's
are.
the lag. It's
Yeah.
not having good servers. That's what it is.
So I mean,
In
I
Destiny
can't-
2, we'll fix that 100%.
Well, they can't do peer to peer. They have to
no,
do.
that's terrible.
They have got to do dedicated servers, and there's
They
no
have to.
reason. there's no reason not. It's 2016. If you don't have dedicated servers, you need to stop making
The
games.
thing is, people say it's expensive and all, but
I'm
they
serious.
have plenty of money. If
It's
Activision hears it'll make
Activision
the
has
game
more
better.
money
What
than
Yeah.
about
any
the
other
money
game
that they
company.
made from the microtransactions? Did you hear about those numbers?
They made more money with Rise of Iron than the original release of the
Did
game.
you hear about
like,
the microtransaction money?
yes,
though?
it's
It was like
ridiculous.
56 million or something like
Yes,
that.
it's
Wasn't
so
that-
insane.
And didn't they make just a ridiculous amount just from the Festival of the Lost deal?
Festival of the Cost, you mean?
Festival of the Cost.
Sparrow Racing Cost is coming up too. Like, come on.
Well, Sparrow Racing
Sparrow
was
Racing
it was always
costs.
free, wasn't it? I don't
Yeah.
remember paying anything for
the
Sparrow
thing,
stuff.
the thing that pissed me off with
Hey,
Festival
Holly.
of the Cost, you could not. You got 3 chances to get those treasure chests, and after that, you had to buy them for the rest of the fucking festival. It was so.
Yeah, I
stupid.
saw that, and that's why I immediately stopped playing. I was like, nope.
I was like, "Is
I'm
this
not
serious? I
doing
only
that.
get 3 chances to get this without buying anything." Okay, Bungie, I got you.
I was
Like
I
what?
can't do that. Spending
So-
Racing League.
Spending Racing League. There
Back
you go.
to
I
Twitter.
like that.
Back to the I don't know if this is
Destiny,
connection
Holly.
or just the game ripping me off.
Watching it right
But
now.
on that video, skip to like 17
I don't even know
and
if I wanna
tell me
watch this.
if this is connection or just the game being stupid. The first melee lunges but doesn't do anything. It doesn't even connect.
That's the horrible hit registration. That's not lag. It's just the hit registration that's been broken since day one
So,
that they've
it's
said
Oh
they
basically-
fixed.
no.
It's basically
that's
shortstop
bad. I don't-
without using blade.
Yeah, it's the hit
It's-
registration with melees has been broken since day one of the game, and they said they fixed it over and over again, but it's never really been fixed.
Well, that's clear proof that it hasn't been fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
I'm stabbed
true,
people
Flynn.
so
But I
much.
feel like they're hovering on that. They're very borderline with that.
So yeah, that's frustrating. Turn,
Seeing
please.
that's
That's
horrible.
not bad aiming. That's just the
No.
game ripping me off.
No, it's just like
You
You're
can
a foot
clearly
away from his
see that
head.
my character lunged towards him, so
But
it
it didn't
registered
hit
the
him.
fact that I
Yeah.
was doing the melee. It just didn't do anything once I hit him.
It
actually
mostly
didn't
happens
connect.
with Blink
It
Strike
just
too.
lunged.
because bullets are just your bad aim.
Ghost melees.
Oh my
That's
god, when Deej said that in the fucking weekly, I wanted to go choke him when he said ghost bullets aren't real, it's your aim. I wanted to
Was
just.
that Deej that said that, or was that
Well,
that
someone else
Crucible
probably
guy?
told him
No,
to say
was,
it, but he said
it was the
in-
Crucible director or whatever his name is.
No, he said it in the
Ouch.
weekly report though. Deej.
Ouch.
He said like sorry about the things. Triple literally had a video of him shooting a Luna and
Oh, no,
it missing
there's-
dead on.
That's
Yeah.
there is no more hard proof than that. Nobody
Yeah,
was
that
moving
was-
in that video. He did the math, you know.
Ridiculous.
There's no you can't deny that video. Like that's
Destiny
like
is a game of RNG. That's all it is.
which is
literally
the
everything.
worst RNG is the worst possible thing for first person shooters. It's
Yep.
terrible. No,
Well,
if
it's
you
not
think
very.
about it,
It's not. It does. There's no incentives to play if you're never, for sure, gonna get anything.
well, it's not even that as not even just rewards, just in general. Like you shouldn't have to depend on RNG whether or not you're going to kill somebody.
I know.
Yeah.
I think that's ridiculous.
That should never be a thing. That's why until they fix that, Destiny cannot be a like
Competitive game.
a competitive game. Yeah, thank you.
That's what when MLG announced the tournaments are opening tomorrow, I literally said no. It's not gonna work. End of story. It's not. It can't work in this current setup. And even most of the quote unquote pros have said that it just won't work with this setup. Like after they did the Farcog tourney a couple weeks ago on PlayStation, most of them said they had like they were stopped, like they were done with sweats and everything just because of how bad the game is in the current state.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sad. That was something that had been talked about months back too, before they added customs. There's just not balance, and it's sad. I have one.
Oh my
one. Yeah.
Alright, I don't know if it's that big, but
I wouldn't disagree.
But
There's really, I mean, there's really no way to
Exaggeration,
disprove that.
Yeah, we really
There's-
don't know the
You
numbers. We
can't,
don't.
you can't disprove it. So he's technically not wrong.
yeah, it's-
He's right
oh, look, I
until
killed him
proven
with my
otherwise.
shotgun.
The odds of killing someone in Crucible are the same as the odds of getting an Ice Luna.
Well, then my odds are horrible then.
I've gotten like 2 throughout my day, and it's the one I'm using and one I dismantled. So I was like, oh, cool.
I think I've only gotten 2 ISOs ever, and they were both
I've-
terrible. So
I think I've gotten. Well, I know I've got 1 on each, but I think I had 2 on Xbox and 1 on PlayStation, or 2 on. I don't remember. But
RNG is just too much.
I think my RNG is decent overall. I've gotten pretty much everything I've wanted.
mine's great on Dallas's account, but not mine.
Right?
I get everything I want on Dallas's account. I've gotten 2 exotics and 1. What was it? It was like I think it was when I played Crota with Zombie. Actually, I got like 2 exotics.
Oh,
Oh yes, I remember that.
I was like, "What is
Oh,
this? I didn't
speaking-
even know that was the thing."
speaking of exotics, you know how on Wrath of the Machine they have like 6 exotic chests or whatever, it's some crazy
Mhm.
number.
I'd never get exotics from those.
I did Wrath of the Machine like 3 weeks ago or something, 2 or 3 weeks ago,
Ouch, Chris.
and I don't even know how many rewards overall I got, but I got 3.
Oh yeah, you were playing with me. I remember.
Yeah, I was with you. I got 3 exotics from those chests, and I got like 9, 10, 11 legendaries throughout the raid. I got
Yeah.
like probably 15 to 17 total rewards out of that raid. It was ridiculous.
It is quite insane.
I think the reward rate for Wrath of the Machine is great. Like you're guaranteed a lot of loot, and it might not necessarily be the best stuff or the stuff that you want, but
But
you're,
at
at
least
least
it's
you're
stuff.
getting something, you know, as opposed to, you know, with
Crucible.
well, not even just that. With Vault and Crota and Oryx, you know, you don't get the what is it? What are the like those items you could use to level up the gear instead of getting the actual gear itself? Like
Ascended
Etheric
shards,
Light
radiant
and
shards.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Those don't. I mean,
Zombie.
yeah, you get the Siva fragments for the to unlock the chests and to upgrade the gear, but it's not like with the other raids where you're like, okay, well, you can go and do a whole raid and only get shards and
Yeah,
like
that's another
no
thing.
gear. You know, with
It's like,
Wrath of the Machine, you're pretty much guaranteed to get
Etheric
something at
Light.
some point.
yeah, that was one thing that like always made us go back to the like even Crota, even how strike worthy that was. It made us go back because of the materials we needed to upgrade our gear.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. 0 to 100.
Now it's just like I haven't done Wrath of the Machine in like 3 weeks because I'm
That's
400. I don't
so
need any of it.
Yeah, the last time I did it was with you.
Yeah, it's just not worth it anymore.
Wow.
So I want to talk about the meta a little bit. Like,
That pretty much
where-
describes the thoughts, right? there.
where should it go from here until Destiny 2 comes out?
Last word Thorn
Backwards?
meta. Backwards, yes. They take one
if
step
we're-
forward,
if
10
we're
step
forced-
backward, but they
Just
take
If
a
we're
race.
forced to use the meta,
All of it. Just a race.
because like I don't know, the meta's weird because it'll change. Like for instance with Rise of, or not Rise of, well, with Iron Banner, not this time, but like last time with Iron Banner, the rise of the Clever Dragon. The rise of the Clever Dragon with Iron Banner,
Hmm.
and then with the whole man, I can't think right now.
Yes,
What
you
is
said
the
What?
Archon's Forge? With Archon's Forge and Saladin's Vigil, the rise of fusion rifles returning.
Aghast.
And I feel like the overall meta is kind of steady right now, but it can change slightly with certain things. For instance, Iron Banner and all that stuff. but
I
then
feel
it'll
like
it'll rotate back to what it previously was.
I'm okay with the
Flame.
meta right now. I'm not okay with all the lag and just the sheer bullshit that happens in game.
What about that one time they said they were gonna like fix the whole lag issue and it ended up getting
Yeah, no.
worse?
Yeah.
I think at this point they just tell us things to get us to shut up for a little while until we figure out they didn't do
You
You're
can
like,
what
oh,
never
they
shit,
said.
silence us.
Another
Yeah.
patch.
And then it's like by that time they're coming out with another patch, and they're like, well, we said we fixed that thing or whatever, but it didn't work.
It's like
So
about
we
that.
actually fixed it.
That's always awkward.
So I'm actually gonna look at the most recent patch anyway.
The worst thing about the patches in Destiny, they wait like 5-6 months per patch per weapon balance, but it's not even like the patches are big or anything. They're really not even that big. Like they don't do a huge thing to the game. They just really change the meta, which it shouldn't do. Just bring the other weapons up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the last hotfix was on the 8th of last month, which is almost a month ago at this point. Like next Thursday will be a month. What they did was fixed the Taken Archon Priest in Winter's Run where he wasn't dropping skeleton keys.
Yeah, they fixed Fogoth too.
That's a good thing. That's a plus. Fixing things that were broken, which they need to be consistent with everything.
See, what Bungie does though is they fix things that are broken and break something that has nothing to do with the thing that was broken.
Yeah.
Flynn
tends to
asked a
happen.
Bert question. On a note of meta, Bert, what would you think if they did patches / balancing / whatever more often instead of every six years?
They should. They 100% should. Unless they did something going back to the Division where when Ubisoft patches their game, it's a huge patch and it actually fixes a lot of things.
But they patch the Division way more frequently than Bungie patches.
That's what I'm saying. But the Division has a state of the game stream with their devs
Isn't
every
that like
Thursday.
yeah, I was gonna say that's
Every
Yeah.
Thursday.
They
They've
they
been
Bungie
doing
are
it for a
on
long
streaming.
time.
they are
I
on
don't
the
even
ball
use it.
when it comes to patching their
How long
game.
have they been doing that for? Like what, 9 months now?
They've done it since the game release.
Yeah.
They've done state of
It's
the
been
game.
It's been a long
It's been
time.
almost a year.
Yeah,
right?
almost.
Basically,
Or
yeah.
maybe. Hang on, I'm gonna look up when it
Almost March. It was March, wasn't it?
March
Oh,
8th.
Flynn,
So yeah, in
you're
March
funny
it'll be a
Philippines.
year. That's crazy.
Guys, too silly.
But they built a full-blown streaming studio and don't even utilize it.
How many times they've streamed?
They stream for an
5
hour
times
once every
since-
2 months. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say since they built that, I think they've streamed 4 or 5 times,
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
and that was for Rise of Iron, like 3 of those times.
All they need to do
Yeah.
is do those streams like what Ubisoft does and show that they're listening, and people will stop bitching as
Yeah,
much.
just communication. That helps a lot. Division and Paragon are by far the best examples of transparency and community management. I agree.
I think
Yeah.
The
way I
Division
look
was
at
a
it-
complete 180 of where they were going.
the way I look at it is Division is on the far end of the good side, and then like No Man's Sky is the far end of the bad
No
side.
Man's Sky.
Destiny's
I like
like
how
right
that
in the
just
middle.
gets brought up.
Well, because
I was
they
literally
went,
about to bring it up.
they went a whole month without saying a word. Like from the time the game launched until like yesterday,
Yeah.
they haven't said anything
Ouch.
about it. Like not even
Ouch.
yesterday. It was like 3 days ago.
yeah.
Wow, really?
Literally, if
That's
you
a
go
long
look at-
time.
Yeah, if you go look at their Twitter, hang on. I'll tell you
I'll
when their
stream
last
their
tweet
account,
was.
just saying. Ask
Throwback
Scott.
to when their Twitter got hacked and they said No Man's Sky was a
It was a
mistake.
mistake. Yes.
That was
So
great.
here's how it went. They tweeted on October 28th, and then their next tweet was November 27th.
Oh
That's
boy.
ridiculous.
Literally 1 month between
Was
tweets.
it to talk about the one vehicle they added to the game with 5 players in it currently?
The 28th was about the hack, and then that was in
Wait, the
October.
hack that happened in like September about being a mistake?
Well, no, it was it was server hacks.
Oh my gosh.
It said server hacks were bringing Mr. Robot as
Damn,
quickly
Holly.
as we whatever blah blah blah. So they went from the server hacks in October to November 27th, they said, we're getting better as quickly as we can for the players who invested in us. Thank you for sticking with us. And
I
then
can
says
All
we hope.
5 of them.
And it's funny because this is the first update of the game, and they're calling it the foundation update. And people are like saying, well, when you build a house, aren't you supposed to build the foundation first? So they're like, they're kind of going back and building the game after the game already came out. Doesn't really add up. Anyway, back to Destiny. I am actually, well, real quick on the No Man's Sky thing. Before it came out, I had a bunch of guys at work that were really excited because it looked, I mean, with the trailer,
Everybody
it
was
looked
excited for that,
looked
apparently.
good, you know, it's. I don't trust trailers anymore because one thing
Yeah.
I've learned from trailers is
Yeah.
they're never true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for instance,
They're lies.
Destiny
worst-
ones are pretty down to the T.
I know we'd mentioned this like outside of the podcast as a possible topic, like worst and best games we ever played and all that stuff. The worst game I've ever played, which actually, in my opinion, had the best trailer, was Brink. That game
Oh my
looked
god, yeah.
so good in the trailer. Like, it could have been the greatest game of all time based on the trailer alone. And then it comes out, and it was the worst game I've ever played. It was terrible.
Yeah, it was
Like,
pretty
whoever did the marketing for that game deserves an award because that game was marketed so well and it tanked so hard. I don't know how that's even possible.
What we want for Destiny 2 PC release? You sure about that?
Yours was Hannah Montana on the team.
Well, I mean, wish granted, you know.
See, on the
Yeah, go
opposite end of that, a horrible trailer, terrible trailer, and it was the last good Call of Duty. Black Ops 2's trailer was complete garbage.
I don't remember.
Everybody
the trailer.
thought it was gonna be like what Advanced Warfare was because there was robots
Oh,
everywhere,
I remember that.
and it
Yeah.
turned out to be one of the best Call of Duties of all time. You cannot trust trailers.
It's hard to compare. It's hard to compare Call of Duties, especially the better ones, because
Yeah.
like
Really. You know,
like-
Boyd. How do you know?
with Black Ops and 1 and 2 and Modern Warfare 1 and 2, and
They have
even
beta
3. Modern
testers
Warfare
on
3 wasn't
PC.
terrible.
Oh, it was great. I loved it for pubs. It was amazing.
So really, the Black Ops and Modern Warfare series were good, and I personally liked Ghosts.
I love
know.
Ghost competitive
Ghost
side.
was-
It was amazing.
Ghost was really fun. I enjoyed the whole Michael Myers Predator deal.
Oh
they
yeah,
had.
that was cool.
That was a cool addition.
See, they did. That's what like Destiny has to do. That would have never came about if it wasn't for like players playing Michael Myers and stuff back in Modern Warfare 2 back in the day.
I mean, it wasn't just
People
that. Like
played
they
their
had
own
they had
moves.
zombies back on Halo 2, dude. Like,
Yeah.
Even I'm sure they even did it in Halo 1, but I remember playing zombies like hide and seek. Played hide and seek on Halo 2. Like you'd have everyone except for the seeker, everyone would be invis. And like
Yep.
specifically on Hang 'em High.
Dude, stop! You're making me want to play Halo. The custom
Yo,
games in that were so
hey,
fun.
It's there, dude. Master Chief Collection.
It was.
You could probably get it for
so
like 20 bucks,
fun.
dude.
I already have that. Of course I
Well,
have.
let's
I
do
bought
it
that
then.
right away. But
Seriously, go play some. We can go play some Halo 2 customs one
I
day.
need to
Oh
download
God,
it.
Zombie.
what
The number
zombies
next
say?
to the thing is the number of people in the group that are online. Just FYI.
Wait.
There you go. In Discord. House's moderator dash
Oh my
3.
God,
Just
zombie.
FYI. It's not a ranking
Should be
system.
-4 cap. Halo
Do
ODST
that.
was great. Like
Was testing you, sure. You loved Modern Warfare 3 personally. Overwatch is your favorite map. Yeah. Bad Company
Overwatch.
2,
Oh yeah,
anyone?
Overwatch was a good map in that game.
Yes. Bad Company 2. That was definitely my game. But
So-
dazzling. Anyway,
We talked about PvP a lot. We talked a
we
little
did.
bit about PvE.
TV, yeah.
So, things we absolutely need, or not necessarily need, but things we really, really want in Destiny 2. We want
Dedicated servers.
dedicated servers,
Mhm.
ranked,
Ranked
and social
and casual.
playlists.
Or
Casual,
social, yeah.
Casual. Basically, take what they did in Halo 3. Halo 3 had perfect matchmaking.
Oh, 110%, yeah.
No, like
I mean,
I can't
obviously
even.
Destiny's different, so we can't.
Yeah.
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 Well, that's another thing. If
Transparency.
they need to. Yes, transparency is definitely a thing. They need to. Good idea. Vince says 60 frames per second. That would be lovely.
Like that.
That would be very lovely.
I feel like they need 100% needs to have a stronger story.
I can see them.
I need more lore. A lot
Yes.
more.
No,
It's not in the
I don't
Grimoire
feel like-
cards.
Yeah,
I
I don't
was
feel
gonna
like I
say,
want
Like
to
an
please
bunch
get rid
about
of
actual
that.
Grimoire.
game.
Get rid of Grimoire. That is so unnecessary.
Like,
I can't even think of anything more unnecessary.
Grimoire's amazing. Why isn't it in the game?
That's the thing.
Everything
like,
in it is awesome, but it's
why
not
are
in
you
the-
telling us a story outside of the game that you could
Why
have
can't
put
you
into
just
the
like
game?
have it in the game?
That's the worst part. They obviously look at how many Grimoire cards there are. They worked so long
Like-
on those.
Oh, yeah.
Could have been put
The
it in
only-
the game.
The only way that kind of works is with Overwatch, because Overwatch doesn't really have a story.
Yeah,
So that
that's
makes it
It
just
has a
okay
bunch of
to
little
make-
stories, but that
It makes it okay
outside.
because
That's
it's only
fine.
multiplayer. There's no story mode to it, so it's
Yeah.
okay to have a story outside of the game.
The game
when
is
you
solely
have-
multiplayer, though, so
Yeah.
that's why.
That's the thing. But when you have a game that does have a story, and yet the majority of the story is not in the story. you
Take
know,
Rise of
it doesn't
Iron
really
for
make sense.
instance. They could have built on so much. I know it was like last second they did it for like a year expansion, but they could have just did so much more with the Iron Lords and everything. Like
I felt like it was so brief. It
The
felt
last
brief to
mission-
me.
the last mission could have been way better. You could have had way more with like what was it? Who died? Yolder. Could have had like way
Spoilers.
more. Oh. Chat like Saladin could have built on what his relationship with Yolder was, because obviously there was something, and then there was just so much they could have did and didn't.
I
You're so
I
sweet,
personally
Caitlin.
would really like. I think flashbacks would have been awesome,
Yeah,
where we could play as the Iron Lords.
Oh, that would have been cool.
some Game of Thrones shit. Oh, spoil.
Hey, hey! Don't be.
What? There's just
that's
flashbacks
a
in there. That's
discussion
it.
for another podcast.
Oh, Game of Thrones podcast. That'd be.
Oh my god.
Well, I need to
that'd be
get
cool.
caught
That would
up,
be
though.
amazing. I could do like a 3-hour podcast on Game of Thrones
I need to
easily.
get caught up.
Love it. I
Especially with
love it.
gaming. To be
Oh.
fair, every Bungie game has had an expanded universe. They went beyond the game, just like Grimoire does. The problem is they want the way the story got messed up. Other than internal issues, is the Grimoire became a necessary thing instead of something that expanded on the universe. Look at Marathon and Halo. There's an
Well,
internal
with
story
Halo,
expanded.
With Halo, they didn't have a story outside of the story. They had books that were not necessarily canon. It was kind of like with Star Wars with the EU. With Halo, you still got the full story within the games, and then
What's
you
Star
had
Wars?
Oh my
Nothing.
god, so dumb.
no. I'm saying like with Star Wars, you have the extended universe. Well, had before Disney bought them, but with Halo, you got the full story inside the game you're playing, and then you had books that were written for extra stuff. You know, if you
Yeah,
so chose,
fun.
but you weren't lacking anything if you never read
we
those
need
books.
a red wedding for Destiny, to be honest.
Oh my god, yes, that'd be sick.
Can we not?
Sam, did you get all the way through Game of Thrones? I'm not gonna spoil anything.
Oh
but
yeah,
are-
I'm caught up. I don't know. Happy.
we need
How
some
far behind are
crazy
you,
shit like the last two episodes.
Well, here's
Oh,
the deal. It's been so long since I've watched it. I would have to go back and watch it again.
You need to watch it.
I do. It's just I have to find the
Oh
time, and I
stop
have to be.
holding
First of
off.
all,
I'm about to watch
first
it
of all,
again,
I have
actually,
to be
tonight.
awake to be able to watch it.
Game of Thrones. I don't know. Zombie.
Game of
Oh my
Thrones.
god, zombie ban him, ban him.
So
Ah, later controls. Thank you for stopping in.
back to the things we need in Destiny 2. So where were we? Actual story within the
New
game.
character, one new character,
Oh,
some
man.
crazy shit.
No, not one new character. I think we need
well,
I-
at least that's what I meant. Like at least a new character.
not even we need okay, we have Hunter, Titan, Warlock.
Mhm.
I want to say minimum 5 total. Add 2 more characters and maybe even add 1 or 2 more subclasses
See,
per character.
Another mistake.
We need variety.
Love it. So
Another
much
mistake
variety.
Bungie did on their part. They told like most of the
Some things.
backstory in the friggin' grimoire, so it's hard to think of a new character to put in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, but
I mean, he
okay,
beards even Sam.
they were able to come up with new
Okay.
subclasses pretty. I mean, I guess not. I mean, from our end, it seemed pretty easily. I don't see why they couldn't come up with new characters.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just something they need to do because
You have time to play with
It's-
yourself, but no time for games.
it's really
What's done?
in this kind of a situation with them wanting it to be
Can't be
an
that lazy, Zombie.
MMORPG, whatever. 3 characters is not enough options, especially when there's not very much customization within those 3 characters.
They could definitely come up with at least 2 more characters.
That's what I'm saying.
Out of curiosity,
Like,
what kind
easily.
of ideas would people have for a subclass? My imagination on this part is lacking.
That's another thing. Like me and my friends, the one they were just sitting there trying to think of more shit you could do.
Well, like when you think of the word warlock, you know, the whole space magic deal.
Yeah.
Space
Warlocks
magic?
aren't really, they don't really, it's not really space magic, you know? It's more of like,
Yeah.
I think it bugs me that
destruction.
female warlocks are warlocks, even though they're not. Warlocks is usually a term for
So,
a
like-
male magician.
true.
Just a thought. When-
Well,
Yeah.
Little things.
yeah. But I think the addition, it would change the game, but it's going to be a whole new game anyway. But I think the addition of a more support heavy character, like for instance, like a not necessarily a mercy kind of a deal, but
I was about to say like a
a
healer
character that you
type.
can heal
Healer
your
type would
teammates.
be so
yeah.
cool.
Destiny, I feel like you could utilize a healer type way
could.
more.
You could.
Like think about it, I mean, it's on
I mean,
a
you
smaller
have
scale,
Defender
but all
Titan.
the
No,
all
but
the
that's
different-
that's a defender. Zombie.
Well, no, I
That's
was
not
gonna
a
say, like,
healer.
it's on a smaller scale, but like all the different
Titan
all the-
in a bubble is not really like a healer though. Zombie.
No, that's defender.
yeah,
It's just a
Yeah.
defensive character.
that's like the bubble
I
shield
see.
on Halo.
Yeah, definitely.
But like if you take for instance all the different perks, or not perks, but like whatever the pickups, the items on Halo, they had the bubble shield, you know, you had the flare and the what's it called, the energy drainer, you had the regen,
That overshield.
overshield, invis, you know, you had all these different things, and that added variables, you know, to the game.
Flynn.
With
I like that
Destiny, it's
question.
like you get what you got and that's it, you know, you don't, there's not really much, you know, it's, and even within
See-
what we have,
This is
Going
a really
off-
good
see certain
question.
things very often.
Going off of that water thing, the water heart. Sorry. Happy.
Yeah, that's
But
what I was gonna.
What's it called? The Omalon. Like you know how Omalon's already technically like a liquid water-based weapon.
Yeah.
You could have like some sort of class
It's fine.
subclass. Have it built by like I don't know some class like built by scientists or some shit that's based off of Omalon or something. I don't know.
Well, like I like the idea of you have the Omalon, which is like water, and then the
Something like regen health. instead of
Supercell.
regenerating
Supercell
abilities.
does electricity.
Well,
Like-
that's technically arc.
No, I know, but that's that specific weapon. Like you have the arc burn, but then
Oh yeah.
Supercell actually shoots electricity, which is pretty cool. Like they could play off of stuff like that, have different like elemental effects on top of
Parts
just the
the
damage
power
types.
of love.
And you have things like Red Death that heal you automatically on a kill. Like that could go off of like a healer type class.
Yeah, and maybe have like instead of, I don't know, there's a lot that they could do with it in different directions. Like I think adding a new gear
Kill them with
tier,
petals.
like
so done.
maybe not
Yeah.
necessarily something above exotic, but maybe something parallel to
between
exotic.
They need to have like raid sets as a gear tier, but actually be like
Useful.
good. Yeah, useful and
Outside of
good.
the raid.
The
Yeah.
only piece of raid gear in history, as far as I can remember, that's actually useful, is the gauntlets that
Yes,
give
please.
ammo, heavy ammo.
Yeah, those are really good.
Though, like outside of that, I don't remember any
The
piece
boots.
of gear.
The boots from Oryx
Dibs on
weren't bad.
Cure, the
Like to
last
go
thing we did.
faster running the aura,
But,
like that
but
wasn't
was
terrible.
was it really noticeable though?
I mean, I could go a little faster. I was always on a hunter, so I never really saw it. But
Yeah.
yeah, Care Bear class. Oh my god.
So and then now things that we absolutely do not want in Destiny 2.
Matador.
Well, I'm actually not opposed to Matador. Or
Yeah, I don't
high,
actually
Shotguns as
care
a
about it.
meta.
high impact, high range shotguns. I'm okay with. One
yeah.
thing
I just
one
don't
thing
want
I
shotguns to be
absolutely-
the only damn thing that are useful anymore. I
exactly.
get that.
We need balance, and that's
We need-
the main thing. They're like
We need counters. More
it's
counters.
been 3 years, and they have yet to balance their game.
Mm.
Well, they say
they-
try, but I feel like they're just trying to fuck with us.
There's no, there's a difference
I think,
between
yeah, it should be
balancing and being balanced. They're constantly balancing, quote unquote balancing, making changes and nerfing and buffing things, but the game has never once been actually balanced to where nothing needs to be changed and you can just play it as it is.
Yeah.
Vince,
It's
things we
like,
don't want,
if they-
same level of communication.
If they buff one thing, then they nerf something else. Or if they nerf one thing, then something else comes along and it's too powerful. It's just like they can never find a good balance,
They need to make the areas where each type of weapon shines much clearer.
But that's kind of like right now, though. Like some weapon types shine more in PvE, some in PvP. Like a high range, high impact shotgun, garbage for PvE. And Luna isn't amazing for PvE. I mean, there's other
Well,
weapons that I'd much rather use.
I don't even think I really use shotguns in PvE.
That's another thing. High fire rated, like low range, low impact, they're actually insanely good for PvE, but people just put them off because of the snipers.
Yeah. Well, like,
To get that. Good
I mean,
note.
outside of raid, well, for raid, and anyway, you're gonna use a sniper, especially when you get to bosses.
That's another thing, though. Like, they're good for the little enemies, like captains and stuff. Grenade
Yeah.
launchers in Destiny 2? No, Vince, stop.
Please no. Don't do that. Don't bring back Reach. Leave Reach where it was.
One man army style.
Grenade
Next, he's
launchers.
gonna
Is he
want
done?
last stand or final stand or whatever it's called.
Oh, fuck, no.
No.
Can you imagine?
No.
Like
Martyrdom.
that's worse than a self-res warlock.
that would
Like,
be so
here,
annoying.
I just killed you, but you're not dead. You're not actually dead.
They should have martyrdom to where if you're on a void lock, you drop your Nova Bomb if you have your super. If you die.
That's a Titan Smash, and you just kill yourself with it.
Exactly.
That's gross. They need to fix They need to fix Titan Smash now, right now.
I'm
I'm so tired of this crap.
little sick of getting killed 1,000 feet.
It's
I just
if
don't
you-
like being really high up in the air and it.
that's the thing.
It's
That's
so
the main thing.
annoying.
It's
It's a ground
it
pound.
shouldn't, it
Like,
shouldn't matter what character you're on. If you are at the peak of your jump, that should not kill you.
Not
Mhm.
even that. If you're in
I
the
like
air,
that.
it slams the
Like,
ground.
I
It
think-
should not affect you that high.
Let's say 2.5 to 3 character heights. You should not be killed.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I've been on Hunter with triple jump and bones, and it still killed me.
hmm
And also, it's not just vertically. It'll kill you if you're like 15 feet away from the smash. In any
Yeah.
direction except like directly behind it. If he's facing away from you, you can survive. But if you're like 90 degrees to in front, it'll kill you no matter where you are within like 15 feet.
I'd
It's
be
ridiculous.
fine with increased radius if the person's on the ground, but reduce the radius if they're in the air because it's just stupid.
Vince is so douchey though.
Like it's a glorified friggin' Nova Bomb, pretty much.
Yeah.
Except
They-
the
like,
fact that you don't throw it.
I can kind of imagine the shape of, like, it would be an invisible shape, obviously, but like where the smash would be active. So like, okay, picture the Titan in the smash pose on the ground. It's kind of like an arc, like a curve. It'll go from like the ground, like say 10 feet out or whatever, and it'll slowly curve up to above him. So where like it's not too much splash on the outskirts, but the closer in you get, the more it goes vertically. So like if you're directly above him, it'll kill you.
Probably
But
not, I guess. That's Twitch determined.
like if you're vertical and away from him, it should never kill you.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Man, I just wish, like, I don't know, just Destiny things.
I
Just
don't
Destiny
feel like there's
things.
gonna be any really big patch for the rest of the year for the rest of this game in
And
general.
that makes me really sad.
I
because
don't feel like there will be either, but I have that little like tiny 1% of hope.
Spark of hope.
Because like think about it,
It's not completely gone.
from here, we're gonna have to wait almost a year.
Yeah,
for
but Diva's a
Destiny 2,
bomb, zombie.
if
She's
it
a
comes
literal
out in
bomb.
September.
Just not a
Yeah.
good Smash.
That's
No
a long
term.
time. That's
Yeah, we
the
are
longest we'll have to wait
It's
between
ridiculous.
content.
Okay, try typing now, Gimme.
If we get nothing between now and
Oh,
Destiny 2, that's literally almost a year.
We won't get anything. I really don't see us getting anything.
I mean,
We'll
I
get-
don't.
We'll
They
get
don't have anything planned.
SRL. We'll get Crimson Days, and then I don't. They said there's something after Crimson Days, but they didn't say what.
Nobody knows when, zombie.
Crimson Days is Valentine's, right?
Yeah, they said there was something
Assuming
after
that's
that, but they
fall.
never
Was it?
said what.
Is there gonna be a Christmas thing?
Yeah, SRL is the winter event technically,
Oh,
Just like
And then-
last year.
but they don't actually decorate the tower because
Yeah.
is it gonna snow?
no, probably not.
It's probably gonna be the same as last year.
They don't want to go against other friggin' like. Well, snow would make sense because that's winter. That's not offending
Yeah,
anyone.
it snows in the winter and pretty much everywhere.
It'll offend Australians.
Well,
Gets winter.
I would say anyone who's in the southern hemisphere,
within
which is very few.
within certain.
I don't have snow right
Climates.
now. Fuck this game.
Fuck your snow.
April Fools, yeah, they'll bring back.
Stupid.
They'll give us. There's gonna be an April Fools event for April 1st. They're gonna give us a great patch and then take it away the next day.
Oh god.
Oh my god, I would be
I will.
so heated.
I will actually uninstall.
I will riot.
I will actually uninstall, and I will write a very strongly worded letter.
They give us like
There's
everything we
already
wanted,
snow at
and
the
we
temple,
love
but that's only in the
PvP,
temple.
and then they take it.
And that doesn't
Talking
count.
about, like,
That's mountain snow.
additions. Aw.
And also, I'm a little mad
It didn't work
because
for me.
Destiny is not what we were told or promised, because what they described it as open world. For one, it's definitely not open world.
Patrols are. That's it.
Not really. It's instanced. Like
Oh
You
yeah.
won't
It's-
uninstall, please.
you can only load small sections of each part
Yeah,
of
that's true.
the planets, you know. So like, yeah, you can drive
Correct.
around that particular planet, you know, and it's really not like it's not even that much of the planet, quote unquote, the planet. You have on average like six or seven main areas on each planet.
Yeah, there's so much more.
Like they could have done a lot more as far as exploration and just like I don't even know. It's not open world like they claimed it to be when they were announcing
It's
it.
really not RPG like they clean it
It's
to be.
definitely
either.
not, because once you complete the main story, there's nothing to do outside of the raid that
They tried to make it more RNG in year 2 and 3 with quests, but it was too late.
but it's like
RPG.
every story mission is exactly the same as it was the first time you played it.
Yeah.
And every strike, aside from
yeah,
the
that was mentioned
occasional
earlier, Flynn.
the occasional taken version, which really isn't a change. It's just a reskin. Is pretty much the same.
What Flint said, Deej literally said on stream that, yeah, I think we said that earlier, that
Yeah.
IB Rift wouldn't be a thing, and now it is.
No, yeah. It has
Especially
changed
now,
a
it's
lot,
gonna
but
be
not
even
necessarily
more
for the better.
ridiculous. Like, there's not even that big of a... The first time IB Rift was this thing, at least it was like a couple weeks after an expansion, there were a lot more people playing. Now it's gonna be even harder to get good teammates because of skill-based matchmaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, zombie. A lot of people don't like it.
It was pretty garbo.
It was like one of the first.
I'm
things
pretty
we
sure
talked
a
about.
lot of people is an understatement. I think everyone hated
No,
it.
it's fine. It's fine. Good.
All right.
Mother of God.
Oh my god, zombie.
Zombie. Such a bitch. You're such a bitch. Wow.
So that's an
Okay.
hour and a half of podcast.
Wow.
Yeah,
Good stuff. I think we did good. You're a
Shall
bitch.
we-
we did, definitely. This was good.
Go ahead and
Think
call
so.
it and then continue next Friday.
For
Yeah,
sure.
We'll do another one. We'll come up with another topic. If any of you guys in chat have suggestions or things you guys want to talk about, or feel free to comment on me. Donor, it's been so long since I've seen you. God.
Oh, I
damn
hear
it,
Dallas. Jesus Christ.
Satan in the background. If any of you guys have any ideas or what you'd like, on what you'd like to hear for the next week's, I'd really appreciate if you guys tweeted one of us out. Happy.
Yeah. Or drop it in Discord too.
Yeah, even in Discord, my Discord definitely. You can feel free to suggest things there, It'll actually really help us out because then we can keep it going every Friday. Yeah.
And it'll
Yeah,
give
same
us
in
time
my
to
chat. If you guys
research.
want to put it in either of our Discords, they're right there.
Yeah. Touching next Friday if there's any topic today.
Actually, I don't know about you, but I'm gonna make a separate text chat just for like podcast topics, like in my Discord.
That's a good idea, actually.
Are you staying on, or are you gonna get off and then get back on?
I know, Donor. Yeah, I'm actually gonna stay on. I was actually probably gonna play a little bit of Destiny just to mess around, really.
All right.
Well, I gotta,
We
like,
should do private matches, but I was planning on getting
Okay.
off for a bit
All right.
Well,
and then getting on. I don't know how long you'll be on, because like
I
private
already-
matches are pretty fun.
I already told Sam at this point I've
Yes,
been awake
happy
for
news,
20,
Sam, yeah.
23 hours.
That's
So-
it. You can go like
I'm not
10 more.
rating Zombie. 100%
No, I-
not rating.
See?
Absolutely not.
Yo, let's
Yeah.
raid Keppa.
No, I probably should eat first and then come back on.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah,
do.
I think
So
that's what I'm gonna do. So I'll probably.
Not a bad
I guess
idea.
we could like.
Let's
duel
double
host
raid someone.
Yeah.
yes.
We do
Hold
some
on.
dual hosting. I really appreciate you guys coming and hanging out because it's like super. It's like super chill.
I actually
fun time.
really enjoyed the
I think it's
podcast.
fun because then we get to
I really
talk
liked
more.
it.
My
Yeah.
Chrome is
And
like
talk-
about to crash.
Talk about
Some reason.
things that, as opposed
That
to just
we
talking
care
about
about.
whatever, like just talking about specific,
Yeah.
Oh, my Chrome's about to crash. It's cool.
No.
choose life.
Yeah,
Chrome.
it crashed like completely. Sorry, chat.
Rip.
Rep.
I have to reopen. Yeah, like
Y'all,
I think it was the
uh,
multi-twitch thing that.
Y'all want a suggestion, or
I already know who you're gonna suggest.
do you though?
Mm-hmm.
Do you though?
Yep, I know exactly who you're gonna suggest. Suggest it. Yep, I knew it. No, I actually didn't know that one, but
Yeah, we can
let's
that.
do it.
Let's
I'd be
do
down.
it. Alright,
Yeah,
guys,
open.
we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna send you guys off somewhere else to someone who
What's
is
the
quite
hashtag?
lovely and wonderful. I gotta go eat, and I will be back.
Yeah,
in,
Shades,
like, a
Sam and
little
I
bit.
will both be back on
And
later.
So, if you wanna do that dual stuff.
With our hashtag.
Hashtag dicks out for Rose.
Takes over Rose.
Combination of both hashtags.
What would be Bert and Rose combined?
Well, his is dicks out for Bert, and yours
Rose.
is Rose Raid. So
Yeah. Takes
dicks out for Rose. Or
Word.
hang on, dicks out for Bert.
Word? Really?
Word.
Really though?
Or Rose is out for dick.
No, that doesn't sound very
Rose
good.
is out for Burt Reed.
Because that
Rose is
literally
out for
sounds
Burt.
like IS
Rose is out for Bert.
instead of roses. It sounds like.
Oh,
Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying now?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that works. If it's typed, it sounds okay. When it's said, it doesn't sound so good. I'm so done.
Let's do it.
What you don't know is that I'm already a dick.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Alright, guys. We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna send you guys over to the lovely Jewel, and you guys can watch some Far Cry 4.
Go. Go,
Now.
Love Jewel. Everybody in my chat too.
Yes.
Do it.
Tisha Rose, I'm so done. I'll be back.
Rose Tisha.